depending on how much time we have left at the end, we may go on to the next one. If I finish this quickly, or I may just stop a few minutes early and then we'll oh, lab this afternoon, by the way, I do not expect it to go until 5. I think probably a couple hours or so. What I want you all to see is kind of the stuff that we talked about in lectures. So I want you to put on a pair of hoof testers, palpate a leg. Not everyone's going to flex the joints because I only have a limited number of horses. I can't flex horses. But you're at least going to see somebody put the leg into a specific position and watch the horse go. Question?
So you might have already mentioned this, so there's going to be no lecture, it's just going to be your lab for 2
Yeah, we're
seconds.
going to go right to lab.
Okay.
So what we'll do, so what we can do, I've got a couple of our teaching horses we're going to use. If y'all want to just meet me back in the barn, there may be some clinical stuff going on, so if there's a horse in the stocks and people working, just try to not grab them. But what we're actually going to do is meet like in the parking lot, out back. You know where we drive horses? You see us folks, and you see us doing that. We're all going to meet there, basically. And there are going to be a lot of you guys, it's just me, so I'm going to probably try to break you up into teams and I'll bounce back and forth. We'll probably have 2 horses we're working with.
And then you mean by the groups that you separated us in already, right? Not all of us.
Correct.
Okay.
So whoever was on the email is going today, like half of the time, we'll go today, and then the second half next week. But the people that are there today, I'm probably going to try to break it up a little bit because it's like 26 people. So, I wish I had like a big yellow, flashing light that said you will see this on Natalie. But so if I had one, this is where it would be. So we've got a whole lecture coming up on arthritis, but I wanted to include it here because we're talking about foot. So we will talk separately in much more detail about arthritis, but I want to mention this here while we're under foot. So we're going to talk about ring bone, and there's 2 types of ring bone. They are both arthritis, okay, and they're in a certain joint. So just briefly, we're going to talk about low ring bone, and I'll have a whole separate slide on it later on. But what joint is this where you're looking at? The top of the joint that says right there, or called the distal interphalangeal joint. Question about that?
Because you don't bring the mic a little bit closer to you.
I don't even know. No. Thank you. I'm going to stand back here though. Tell me if that isn't enough. So low ring bone is osteoarthritis in this coffin joint right here. Okay. See all this fluffy stuff here? Okay, and there. That is what arthritis looks like in horses and most joints. This is not a tumor. Okay. Natalie likes to give you this is like an osteosarcoma as a choice. I think, and I'm no dog expert, but I think if you had something funky like looking like this on a dog bone, you might be thinking like an osteosarcoma or something, right? It is not in a horse. They will never show you a picture of an osteosarcoma in a horse. They're theoretically possible, very rare. I think I've seen one in my career. Natalie's not going to give it to you. This is not an osteosarcoma or any tumor. Neither will it be on my exam. So just get used to the fact that there's fluffy, bony stuff that is osteoarthritis. So here's one that's a little bit less. This one's a little bit more advanced. Do you have a question? Oh,
But just in general, bone cancers are rare in horses.
yeah.
So out of everything in their lives, they don't get bone cancer, they get everything else.
Yes. They exist, okay? I mean, rarely, but it's one of those funny things like, oh, look what I had. I had bone cancer. I mean, you wouldn't talk to that dog. But no, they get everything else. They die from everything else. If they live long enough, they probably get bone cancer. But they don't have time.
That's why they live long enough.
You're probably going to go later on, but is it on the radiograph, is it more so like a bone proliferation?
Yeah. It can look different, okay? So I'm going to show you one in the hock where it looks like what we call an osteobite. It's like a little spur, okay? But either way, it is bone growth. And if that spur gets more, it's going to turn like this. So what happens in arthritis? What happens in arthritis is that there's inflammation in the joint, right? Itis of the joint, arthritis. So that hurts. Inflammation in the joint hurts, produces excess fluid. The body's like, oh, this is no good, it hurts. So what it tries to do, just really general, non-medical way of saying it, it tries to stop the movement. Because the movement is what hurts. the body's way of stopping the movement in the joint is to lay down bone and try to fuse that joint together. If it can successfully do that, a lot of times it's not nearly as painful. So it stops the movement by laying down bone. If that works, of course it goes better. Okay. Often doesn't work fully. But what's going on here is that we've got bone trying to grow in from both sides and lock that joint together. Now the coffin joint is a fairly high motion joint. It's not really going to be successful. But that can work in other places, like the one above it, the proximal implant.
So, would a sequestrum also be differential, or is that what
No, it
different?
looks different. I'll show you pictures of this. It's not so much. But it wouldn't usually be in the joint like this at all. If you had something that looked like a sequestrum in the joint, I'd be really thinking it was more of like a joint infection or osteomyelitis or something other than just like a pure sequestrum like you might get from a kick wound or a laceration on the hip area. So low ring bone. Low, you're nearer to the ground than, for example, the pastern joint, right? Here's the pastern joint. This is high ring bone. So what that looks like grossly, here's the normal short pastern, long pastern, and here is the body's probably successfulness or its attempt to fuse that joint together. So when you have a bump right here, hard bony bump, it's usually circumferential, it kind of goes around a little bit. That would be a really strong indicator that this is a high ring bone. For low ring bone, if you look right here, you probably get a little bony bump, but it's lower. It's almost just right at the top of the hoof capsule. Right there, you can see it. Here, there's a better one. But you see how this is basically almost starting right from the top of the hoof, versus this is just higher. You have the top of the hoof, then you have a little bit of normal, then you have a bump. Just imagine like you're on this joint versus down here. That's really all the time I'm going to spend on osteoarthritis right now, because I've got a whole lecture. I think it's actually next after this one, but we're going to talk about why it happens, how to treat it, blah, blah, blah. But I want you to know ring bones. So, you ready for another case? So this is a patient of mine. She was back from before I was at Tuskegee, so I did a little ambulatory practice before I came here a few years ago. But isn't she pretty? She's a Parisian, beautiful horse. Her name is Laura. And she was purchased from Texas, sight unseen, by the owner who happened to be stationed in Afghanistan at the time. So she was meant to be a broodmare, and they were going to breed her. And the owner who's in Afghanistan purchased her from Texas and had her shipped to her poor husband waiting in Alabama for this horse who's not a real person, didn't know what. So she showed up, and the husband called me and said, please come out. Of course, there's drainage. Well, I don't know if it's drainage, but like there's drainage from the hoof. So this is what I saw when I clipped her up a little bit. And here's the video of her walking. I'm not going to show you a trot. I didn't need to trot her, right? What grade of lameness is she? 4. Okay, she's lame with the walk, right? Okay, so lame with the walk, she is a 4. But she's bearing weight, right? She's not happy about it. She's doing it. One more time. And what leg is she on? Down on sound. Right. Watch it one more time. Watch her head. Down. 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 Down on sound. So we talked about this. What is lame? Right, for an AEP grade 4, lame at all. It's a differential. White line disease? Is that what you said? It'd be lower on my list because they're usually not super painful, but sure, I haven't really looked at the foot yet. Equator. Potentially, I'm going to come over here. Let's just look at. Now, equator, what I would expect to see is actually usually coming out up here, a little bit more on the side, but it's a potential. I'm going to leave it there. Could be a laceration, okay. So we got. If it was side bone, it would be like a quitter. It wouldn't be side bone, really. Count that. And so basically, we got a real sketchy history from the place they bought this from. They said they treated it, but it's still having problems, so that's all. Yeah, so she got off the trailer looking like that. She's Say it again? So what I've heard so far is a laceration, white line, what else? Subsolar abscess, okay? What's the subsolar abscess? Or, yeah, actually above the sole, if we're thinking of like, you know, the way we're, look, it's below the sole of the ground, right? Yeah. Okay. So that is my top abscess. That is my top differential. Good. So subsolar abscess, this is super, super, super common. So any horse can get it, whether or not they're wearing shoes, doesn't matter how old they are. Basically, it can happen because bacteria get in somehow to that area. You're right above, well, we call it subsolar, right? So it's underneath the sole if you're looking at it upside down, the way we do it. I'll show you. So what you get is purulent material building up inside the hoof capsule. Now, the hoof capsule is hard, right? So when you get that build-up of pressure in there, it's very, very painful. Okay. So it can happen because something got in there directly, like a nail punctured in there. White line disease can make an easier entry of bacteria into that area, so then it just grows the bacteria as an abscess. Or most commonly, the horse steps on a rock, gets into the sole bruise, there's blood in there. You guys know blood is an awesome medium for bacteria. Okay. So that's usually what happens. So here's one right here. So I mean subsolar is like, you know, here's the sole, it's underneath here, right? So diagnosis for these guys: sudden severe lameness. Here's a really typical scenario. Owner calls you up and said, oh my goodness, my horse has fractured its leg. It can barely walk. He was fine when I looked at him last night, and today he can't even get across the field. So you are always, 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 unless you see the bone obviously deformed or sticking out or something like that, you're gonna not forget to look at the hoof, because these guys are classically like false fractures. Okay? They are so painful. It looks like the horse is fractured, but it actually just has a subsolar abscess. I literally have had horses sent into me in a Kimsey splint when I was a resident for a fracture that was just a subsolar abscess. Okay? Don't forget the fact that those are really, really common, more common than fractures.
So people who are not horse people.
Yeah.
So how do you get the drainage in the opening, like in the picture? I'm sorry.
Oh, like in the one up there?
The hoof, yeah.
Okay, good question. So, let's say that you have your abscess here. This is your primary abscess. Often these will, if the vet doesn't come out and drain them, they're going to try to pop out one way or another. They can either pop out down here on the sole, and that works better if that happens. If the sole is really hard, really thick, and the path of least resistance is up the laminae, and then out here, the corner again, that's going to give you what happened with it.
So does that mean that it's gonna separate?
Well, not the entire thing. I mean, you're not worried about the hoof falling off because of that. It's probably like a little fistula that goes up from here and just tracks all the way out to north south corner again. Now, you don't want that to happen because they're not going to drain, they're not going to resolve as well if they just drain out the corner again. Your job, and I think I say in this slide later on, your job is to go back in, even if that is, happened. Your job is to get the drainage, so it was. Alright, but let's go back. How do we determine what this is? So sudden severe lameness. Oh my goodness, my horse is a fracture, but it actually doesn't. Heat in the hoof, heat in the leg. You can actually have quite a lot of edema. Like some people, have a horse that gets edema like all the way up to the knee almost, and you're like thinking, there's a tendon injury or something bad up high. Don't forget the fact that there can be a lot of edema, a lot of swelling with just overbendness. Digital pulses, strong digital pulses, bad enough they could have a fever. That's not very common. Radiographs, like this. Sometimes you'll see them, not always, but sometimes you'll see them nicely here. Now this one right here, hoof tester's positive, hoof tester response, that's really important. Okay. So there's pain in this part of the foot when I put the hoof testers right here. Okay. Abscess can really be anywhere, so if you have a horse that doesn't respond at all on one foot to the hoof testers and then responds really strongly in one spot on the other one, on the lame one, that's a really strong indicator that you could have an abscess. Could be other things, right? But usually when there's an abscess, they're really pulling away hard. So what do we do? If they're wearing shoes, pull them off. One of the ways that you can get an abscess is for the nail that the ferret puts in to kind of go a little bit in the wrong direction, or just to bring something in, even if it wasn't a bad nail. So pull out the shoe and examine the nails. If the nails are kind of wet coming out or smelly, then that may indicate where the issue is. Hoof testers will help you identify where the area is. You see this black goo right here? Okay. So abscess, the period material in an abscess is not like white period material like you think of, right? So it's black. And what you'll often find when you clean the foot off a little bit with a hoof tester, you'll see a little bit of a black track. It's just a little bit of a sliver. Sometimes you don't immediately pop into it, and you follow that. If you got a small track with the black stuff, a little moist, follow that with your hook knife, and eventually you pop into the abscess, and then you get a lot of drainage. So like I said before, ventral drainage is the best way to resolve these things. Even if they're draining out the corner band, you don't want to just let them continue draining out the corner band. They have to drain out the bottom for good, quick resolution. So this is yellow. So once you get a decent hole into the abscess, and I'm not talking about like a little teeny one, you want to make it sizable enough that you can flush it out, things like that. We soak the hoof, you can flush directly in there with a little syringe, no need to put just a syringe to flush in there. Soak it every day to help clear that stuff out. Keep it bandaged. You don't want to put this horse right back out in the field, right, and have him standing in the door with the body getting up in there. So you're going to keep him bandaged until that sole is fortified and you have like a hard surface in there.
I think I've seen something like this in the clinic one time. I forgot to ask him why he was doing it, but he actually had like a bag taped around the horse's hoof with the iodine solution. So is that what you mean, like soaking?
Yes, that is an easier way to soak. So owners at home will often just like have the horse stand in the bucket of iodine or extraction salts, and the horse steps off, the horse keeps the bucket. Horses like to do that. So what we like to use is the 5-liter IV fluid. It's a really, really tough material, and then you just put them on the leg, put the stuff in there, duct tape around it, not but enough that it stays in there, and then let the horse stand around there. And most of them will tolerate it. So just a much simpler, easier way to do it than. So usually these guys do really well. So excellent prognosis. For the most part, you don't even need antibiotics. So as long as you get that thing draining, it's going to resolve almost immediately. The horse feels better because you got the pressure off. Within a couple of days, he's a lot better. Typical abscess, very common. But so what I didn't tell you before is that Lara, when she got off the trailer, has now had this abscess for 2 weeks, and she's really lame, like you saw. And it's draining. Whereas you think if she was draining, the pressure's off, she should not be that lame. So when she came, or when I went out to her, we didn't start with the typical abscess treatment because in theory the place she came from had already done that. But 2 weeks later, your horse is still lame, there's something else going on. So now, radiogram. Yeah, buddy?
Would you say that horses that are on pasture all the time are predisposed to this? Because like back home, we don't have racehorses or anything like that. Most of them are pasture ornaments, and we see them a lot, especially in the spring with a lot of new growth coming up. I didn't know if that was a predisposing factor.
I would say it's not necessarily the fact that they're out on the pasture, but the weather making the pasture wet and dry, but especially wet, really softens the hoof up, and that helps bacteria get in there.
Okay.
Plus, some of those horses out on the pasture aren't getting the frequent hoof trims. Let's say places with broodmares are often out there and they kind of get their feet trimmed like once every few months or something like that, and they have these long feet that just don't look like your horse's feet if you kicked them in the barn. Those guys can stretch the white line out and predispose them too.
Thank you.
Yes.
So, besides that, the radiograph that you showed us that had the abscess of particulate lobe,
Mhm.
does that hurt?
No.
Did we take radiographs initially?
We did. Alright, so you guys said you want radiographs. I've got a couple others, but, so these are her real radiographs. You can see like how swollen she was here. And she wouldn't put her hoof down anymore. You can see she's standing kind of weirdly because she won't bear any more weight than that. So I've got a couple others, but go through here first and see what you say. I have great volunteers who want to come up and join us. More than welcome.
It's like, especially around this area,
Yeah, what's going on there?
like possibly like some bone, like how long the abscess is there.
So that looks pretty abnormal, right? You guys agree? Is that a pretty abnormal area? I agree. So yeah, all of this looks, here you go, you know, you're wrong, you don't have to commit. So all of this looks pretty abnormal here.